And we should be live. Thanks for joining me once again for another installment of Teatime Tales. I believe that this is already the 5th edition of Teatime Tales, which I can't quite wrap my head around. It's already been that much time since I embarked on the streaming adventure. And so, today we are, by popular demand, going to be playing a Folco Boffin deck, the newest hero in the latest pack that was released. That's right, we actually got a new pack released. That's another thing I can't quite believe. But yeah, there's a new adventure pack, there's a new hero, so I'm not too surprised that that was the popular vote. And so that is the deck I'll be running today. As always, this is a testing ground for new decks that aren't quite fully baked yet in many cases, and I think you might see that today, but we'll see. So the idea is to test it out in kind of their like 75% state and just see how it works and maybe see what improvements could be made along the way. The other thing is, do expect mistakes to be made as always, and those who are following live and Twitch stream, feel free to help me out if you catch any mistakes. Definitely would love to catch them in the moment as opposed to afterwards. And what else? I will scoop if it seems things are going horribly, just in the interest of time, so I can get a usable, useful, fun to watch game in the about hour segment that I have each time. And this time around, in terms of tea, I do have a, oh god, now I'm blanking on the on the exact name. It's some type of special wintertime tea. It's like a chamomile with apple and cinnamon, so it's quite good. I'm enjoying that, and will keep me nice and calm. Come with me. So this Folco deck is called Third Wheel, which I think is quite appropriate. I originally had that deck name for another deck, which we might see on this stream at some other point. But the idea is basically, I had for a long time had in mind a Frodo and Sam deck. I think I first started thinking of it in terms of campaign, but I wanted to do a 2-hero Frodo Sam Secrecy deck with Strider, just to hit maximum theme levels, right? Like, there's nothing more kind of emblematic or that people think of when they think of Lord of the Rings than Frodo and Sam kind of facing off danger alone. Unfortunately, just for a lot of different reasons, that deck never got quite to where I wanted it to, and then all of a sudden Folco was spoiled, and I was like, okay, here's a chance to actually get it to another level. Because one of the problems the Frodo and Sam deck had is lack of card draw and also lack of easy access to fast hitch. And Folco happens to hit both of those with his access to lore. But then he can also, ditch himself, head home to lower your threat back to secrecy. The funny thing is, in testing this deck, I actually ended up cutting out Strider, which was one of the original purposes of the deck in the first place. Just because I found that by the time this isn't like I've seen some Folco decks and messed with a few where you kind of discard him right away, and he's just there for the initial bump, like 1 or 2 rounds. This is not that, and playing this so far, usually he stays around a little longer, and he's more of a mid-game discard. So for that reason, by the time I was getting Strider out, I already had more than 5 characters, and so the only thing Strider was giving me was not exhausting to quest, and I would have fast hitch by then already, so just wasn't adding enough value, so I ended up cutting it. But there's some other secrecy stuff, which we will see as we head forward. So yeah, I think without further ado, we can get started. I should adjust my threat to more accurately reflect. Folco, in case you're not familiar, because he is new, gives you -1 threat for each Hobbit hero you control, so that's actually -3. So that does take me down to 19, right within secrecy range, instead of 22, what it would be. I am playing the Fate of Numenor quest today. Not necessarily one that I use too often for questing. I'm not sure exactly why, but it's not one that I usually think of. But I'm trying to give a variety of quests here on Teatime Tales, so you just don't see me play the same quests over and over. And I do like the Grey Havens box quite a lot, and I specifically love this quest just because the whole downfall of Numenor section of the lore is one of my favorites. I'd love to see that in some kind of, you know, TV show form at some point, or I don't know. But so actually having a kind of Numenor related segment or quest is something that I quite enjoy, and I like how this quest is kind of not as intricate as the Temple of Deceive map mechanic, but it has some of that flavor with the Lost Islands that you flip over and explore. So this is a quest I really I loved a lot when I first played, and then haven't played for a while. Now that I've been playing it again more recently, I remember why I like it quite a bit. Okay, so we've gotten started. We've got 2 copies of the Lost Island because we're just playing 1 player. We've got our friend Calphon, who lets us look at the bottom card of our deck and switch out a card in our hand with that. If you remember this quest, basically a lot of effects trigger off what the cost of the bottom card of your deck is. And so we can advance. And basically progress can't be placed on the quest. The only way we get progress on it is by exploring the active location. So we have to churn through about 20 quest points worth of locations. These are hidden, so we don't know what's underneath until we explore them, and they replace themselves as we travel to them. So there's always a new stream of locations. In terms of my hand, this is my first hand. I haven't mulliganed yet, and I'm not going to mulligan because Timely Aid is the #1 card I'm looking for. There's actually not a ton of secrecy cards in here. It's mostly Timely Aid and Resourceful, but this deck has a lot of singleton copies of big powerful allies with the idea of I want to hit them with Timely Aid, get started quickly, and then if I'm, you know, running very good tail or further Timely Aids, I don't want to draw the same unique ally and whiff, because I am known for whiffing. So I'm trying to avoid that. Alright, first round, let's go. Ooh, this is looking like a tasty first hand. Further fueling the internet rumors that I set up all my hands in advance. There are no such internet rumors, at least hopefully, but I'll start those rumors going for myself now. So Hobbit Pipe can go on Frodo, because why not? He looks like the smoking type. And we'll definitely want to fast hitch out for Frodo, as he will be our primary defender. And then we're definitely going to play a Timely Aid and see what we get. Boop. For 1, because we're in secrecy, look at the top 5 cards of your deck and put 1 ally into play. Okay. Please don't whiff. Oh, I thought that was a whiff for a second, but it is not. That was very close. Well, it's not one of my big beefy 4 or 5 allies, but I will use Gleowine. Put him into play, shuffle the rest. And Gleowine's one that I've ignored for a while, and I've actually, as you saw in the last stream, if you watched that, Gleowine was a key component of that deck. He's actually coming back into favor for me quite a bit. Just that easy card draw is nice. I might as well take advantage of that, see what I can get. Okay, I get a Galadriel's Handmaiden, which is nice. And I do have a Sylvan Refugee. Now you might wonder why I'm including Refugee in a deck where Folco will eventually off himself and take out a Refugee. I've found that just getting that extra bit of secrecy help, rather I should say the extra willpower help for secrecy that the Sylvan provides is fine, and then later on when I'm more set up, it's okay if I lose her. So we're looking at 4 right now. I can send 7 easily, even 8 with Calphon, so I don't think I need the Refugee right now. And I just rather... There's 1 treachery that I'm looking out for that deals 1 damage to each non-unique ally, which is a pain. So hopefully I can get Test of Will here soon and be protected. So we're up against 4. We're going to send R2, R5, R7. We'll ready Frodo right away with Fast Hitch. And that's all I need, really, because I can't make, again, I can't make progress on this thing, so it doesn't really matter to send more than that. What do we got? Players as a group must remove characters with a total of at least X will. X is the number of... There's 2 uncharted locations. So we will remove the 2 willpower worth. I can give myself Doom 2 to look at a face-down uncharted with this aimless wandering, but I'm not going to because I don't want to pop myself out of... deprive myself of 1 more round of secrecy. So I'll remove Folco. He likes being removed from things, I heard. No progress. Let's go ahead and travel to this. When that happens, the forced on the explore the island triggers, which when an uncharted location is becomes active, we're going to add another one. That's what I was talking about earlier. Replaces itself. And then the after effect on the lost island that I traveled to triggers, which flips it. This is Lush Jungle. After it's flipped, return it to the staging area unless each player exhausts each ready hero. So I'll ready Frodo. No big deal because there's no combat. Then I'll go ahead and exhaust Calphon to use his ability to look at the bottom card of my deck. Just because, why not? It's kind of like an extra form of card draw at this point. Quick Beam. Yeah. I think I will take myself up on that. And in return, for now, I'm gonna put Glorfindel there, just because having a high cost card on the bottom of your deck is good for this quest. A lot of the effects are like if the bottom card of your deck is 2 or lower. And I don't see myself being able to pay for him anytime soon until I get some resourcefuls. And maybe he'll get discarded, but maybe I'll also be able to bring him back with Calphon. But Quick Beam is going to be more immediately useful. So let's move to the next round. We're now in 20. The good news is we can now pay 2. Actually, before I do anything, let's just draw with Glaewine. Rosie Cotton, there we go. She isn't quite as devoted to Sam in this particular deck as I mostly use her to buff Frodo's defense so he can be a uber defender. But she's versatile. She can help out the other hobbits when necessary. So let's put in Galadriel's Handmaiden. Lowers our threat by 1. Gives us another turn of secrecy. Let's pay 1 for timely aid. Let's try that again. And hope to get one of our big boys. Oh, the whiff. Oh, I just knew I was going to whiff often with timely aid on this stream. Well, that's 2 of my 3 timely aids gone, and I've just have a Glaewine to show for it. So that's actually not too good for this deck because the timely aids are really designed to get some of these big allies out. But we'll see how it goes. Nothing else to do. Folco will save up his resource for Quick Beam. Stokes Book is asking, is buff his defense a euphemism? Wouldn't you like to know? Alright, we're up against 4. We need to clear out 4 here. So let's send the lot. 5, 7, 8 with Frodo, and I'll even send Calphon for 9 since we know what our bottom card is right now. Reveal. Yep, this is the one I was talking about, unfortunately, which is going to take out my Handmaiden, which is not good. The good news is it's out of the deck already. I think there's one other copy. So this is Curse of the Downfall, and deal 1 damage to each non-objective ally. With printed cost 2 or less. So that applies to both my allies. Please place each ally destroyed by this effect on the bottom of its owner's deck. So that's a damage for you, Glaeowine. That's a damage for Handmaiden. She's gonna go to the bottom of my deck, so in theory I could actually pull her back with Calphon later. But that was basically wasted resources, which is the tough part. So I'm only sending 3, 5, 7. I think my math is wrong here. It should be 8 with Calphon. So I make 4 progress. Let me just double check that to make sure I'm not making it easier for myself. 2, 5, 7, 8. Yeah, that should work. 8 to 4. Okay. So that takes out the Lush Jungle. Since it's clear that's going to be 4 progress on the quest. When these uncharted locations are explored, they do not go back in the regular deck. They get shuffled back into... what is this thing officially called? The Lost Island deck, I believe. The Uncharted deck. Okay. So I'll travel to a new one. Replace itself. What do we got? Forbidden Coast. After it's flipped over, each player may draw a card. I will. And then each player chooses a card from his hand and places it on the bottom of his deck. I might as well put Rosie there. Nope, that's not the bottom. I always have a problem now and then trying to get it to the bottom. Okay, that's it. Next round. Okay. We got a very good tail in play. Well, in my hand, rather. So I could theoretically try to speed things up by playing Quick Beam and then exhausting both Quick Beam and Glaeowine, but I think instead I'm just gonna draw with Glaeowine, just on the off chance I get the 3rd copy of Timely Aid. Nope, it's another refugee. Okay, so let's play Quick Beam out. He exhausts, but we'll damage and ready him. Let's see how we're doing for questing. We'll have 10 to 4 available, so we likely won't clear the Forbidden Coast unless I play another ally. But I would really like to get Bilbo out and get another pipe on the board. Yeah, let's hold off for now and see where we get to. 3, 5, 7, 8, 10. 10 to 4. Again, we probably won't clear the location. Okay, this is a Soulless Cadaver. That's 7, so we'll make 3 progress. When he engages me, I have to put each card with printed cost 2 or less on the bottom of my deck. So normally I might just pull this guy down with Frodo and tank him just to get his threat out. But that would wipe out essentially my entire hand. So yeah, we're not going to do that. We'll take advantage of our low threat and leave him there. And hope we can get some more questers out next turn. Okay, we are officially now out of secrecy. Or are we? Because I can drop it back down again if I need to. Although at this point, I don't have any secrecy cards to play. Let's exhaust Glaeowine and see what I get. Okay, we got a couple copies of Friend of Friends. Which Frodo and Sam definitely are. A priority is to get Rosie Cotton out. For sure. And... let's see. I might as well use Folco's resource to get at least 1 copy of Friend of Friends out. So this is a one-sided friendship so far. Because only Sam has it. I can put down the other, but... I think Bilbo is the right move here. Just because he has more than one hit point, which, well, actually he's protected anyway from that treachery because I think it only hits non-uniques. So, yeah, I mean, I could drop my threat back down into secrecy, but I don't even have any secrecy cards to play, so no difference either way. I can grab a pipe with Bilbo, which thins my deck out a little bit more. And will help with future card reduction. Threat reduction, rather. So we'll go ahead and put that pipe on Sam. Stick Folco in his cart and aim him at a steep plateau. Yeah, we're just waiting for the right spot to send him on his way. Okay, we got 2-4. We're up against 7. We do want to clear this out just so we don't get threat locked, which could be a danger at this point if we don't start picking up the pace. 2, 5, 7, 8, 10, and 12. Really, there's no good reason to exhaust Rosie right now or send her on the quest, since we can wait to see what happens, and if we need that extra willpower, she can just choose one of the hobbits and add 2 to their willpower. So let's see what happens. Okay, what is this nasty business? Mysterious fog. Either each player must exhaust a character, or each lost island in the staging area gets +1 threat. So +2 threat would take us to 9. That's still enough to, yeah, so let's just take the extra threat. So we're now against 3, 6, 9. We make 3 progress, which is enough. We put a big 6 progress on our quest. That means we're halfway there. This is going to go back to the Uncharted deck. We will quest. Replace itself. And then let's see where we're at now. Flooded Ruin. So this is going to contribute its threat to the staging area. Still going to leave this guy there because he's going to still wipe my hand. So we will not deal with that. Next round. Okay, Bill the Pony is here. And we might as well play the other copy of Friend of Friends, basically using Folco's resources whenever we can in anticipation that we might need to discard him one day. And I'm thinking this might be a good moment for a very good tale. Because we have Bill and we have Glaewine, who aren't necessarily questers. So instead of using his card draw, I'll do that. My history with a very good tale is not great. I think we're sensing a theme in these streams that my success with these kind of lucky fetch cards is not great. I might have been cursed along the way. Okay, Gandalf, which we can't pay for. My other timely aid, a fast hitch, and a resourceful. Okay. So I get a handmaiden and I lose some of my most important cards. Well, that's fantastic. Like literally timely aid, fast hitch, and resourceful are like the core cards of this deck, and then Gandalf's a big ally that I like to use at the end of the game just to close it out. Oh well. Not surprised. So threat down by 1. Well, at this point, since I haven't used them really, what I'm doing is actually going to keep the Sylvan Refugees in hand for after I discard Folco. And also, in case something bad happens and a treachery wipes out some people, these will be my replacements. I kind of think of it like if anyone plays Game of Thrones, like when you're keeping some cards in hand in case a Valar pops out and wipes your board. You want to have some replacements on deck instead of just spewing it all out there. Okay. That's about all I can do. Let's do... We're up against 7 again. Actually, we're up against 10. Yeesh. Actually, I might want to... How much willpower can I get? I can get 3, 5... actually, this is 4, 6... 9 now because of friend of friends. 11, 13, and 15. It's pretty good, but I might want another quester. Well, plus 17 potentially. Yeah, I'll stick with my original strategy. I think I should be okay, hopefully. So 4, 6, 9, 10, 12, 14, and 16 with 2 more waiting in the wings. Okay, this is a 2 threat. And yeah, we'll go ahead and trigger Rosie so we get the extra 2 to wipe this out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's gonna go here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This goes into the deck. We're gonna travel so we get a new one. Mr. Trench asks, where were the hobbits? These hobbits last weekend. Yeah, me and Mr. Trench played at the Fellowship event, and we were destroyed by the attack on Dol Guldur. Okay, Drowned Graves. So we're going to discard the top 3 cards then, counter deck, which is a total of 3. 1, 2, 3. And we have to add an undead enemy from that. I guess this one. Okay, we're starting to run into a little bit of enemy trouble. So, I can't really do much to kill these guys. Let me just do some mental math. So, if we engage an enemy, Sam would be attacking for 3. Frodo would be attacking for 5. Yeah, so there's no one who we could even kill, even if we take one undefended. Chris says enemy lock, the secrecy deck's bane for sure. Other decks might worry about location lock, but when you start facing down this, it becomes a problem. This is exactly the problem you get if your timely aids in a very good Tails whiff is my big attackers in the deck, like Glorfindel and Gimli, and who else is in there? There's a couple ones. Prince Amerhill. Without those, it's hard to muster the attack power you need. And then on the other hand, since your threat is getting up there, you have to keep committing your big beefy attackers like Quickbeam. So this is one of the problems of this deck, is if it kind of relies on your timely aids hitting. So one potential tweak is I might include more allies in the future, but then you run into the problem of having allies you can't pay for. So it's a balance. I'm thinking at this point of bringing one down just to tank it. I'll have to raise my threat a bit, but that's what Folco is here to deal with eventually. The question is which one? I guess I'll bring down this one since he has the 3 threat. Have to look at the top card of my deck. Its printed cost is 2 or less. So the Deceiver, Servant of the Deceiver. I love the nods in this quest because Deceiver is one of the big nicknames of Sauron in his kind of pre-metal suit of armor phase when he could still shape change. He was Sauron the Deceiver. Reading McDog's comment that describing an ant as beefy is odd. Hey, I don't know what those ants are into. I don't judge. Chris, the bigger issue is quests that spawn more than one, because if your threat is low, you can only engage and kill one more per round. Yeah, any quests that spew out enemies are a problem. Like this drowned grave. Okay, so this one's hitting for 5. We're defending for 3. So we'll take 3, our first use of Frodo's ability. Oh, Sam should have readied, but for all I have 3 attack, which is good, but doesn't get through this armor here. So that's it. Next round. Next round, we're going to focus on combat, if we can. So we got another very good tale. Do I dare? Do I dare? I kind of think I have to at this point with both my timely aids gone. Yep, let's go for it. 1, 2, my other fast hitch, my threat reduction. I can't pay for Glorfindel. Jesus Christ. Well, okay. Glorfindel will be in my discard pile, so I could potentially pay for him at some point. I do get a Sylvan Refugee. I did lose more of my threat reduction, and I did lose another fast hitch. So, I will blame some of the luck, because there are definitely a few... I wouldn't have done that, but there are a few 4-costers. There's Eristor, Prince Imrahil, and Gimli off the top of my head. All of which are very useful. But they all happen to be in the bottom of my deck, apparently. Someone could argue maybe I could construct my deck a little bit better. Well, yeah, that's probably fair. Okay, I gotta drink this chamomile to calm myself. Okay. Well, it's not a complete loss, because the Sylvan Refugee, in theory, can quest instead of the Quick Beam. So I'm gonna need a total of 7 to chew through this guy. With Rosie, I can get up to 4 set. Okay, so basically I'm gonna need to keep all of them out of questing, which is gonna hurt. Okay. So 4, 7, 9. Or I could just try to tank this guy until the end of the universe. We'll see. 2, 6, 8, 10, 12, and 13 against 9. It's not too shabby, actually. I think I'm going to ride that out with Rosie as an emergency button. What is this nonsense? Jesus. Well, that is 2 of the Curse of the Downfallen gone. So 1 damage to each non... Oh, it's non-objective, not non-unique. Oh, this is going to hurt very badly. I haven't drawn any of my 3 copies of Test of Will either. Okay, 1 damage to each non-objective ally with 2 or less. So Glaywine is gone. That takes out the Refugee. That takes out this one. Damage here. Yeah, that treachery is... I have some harsh words for that treachery. Rokafuke's 3-cost secrecy allies like Keldwin Traveler would make your very good tail better. Yeah, that's a good shout. I think Keldwin Traveler would be a good addition to this deck. Provided I can draw it early enough to play it. 2, 6, what am I left with? 7 and 9 to 9. I break even, which is actually fine at this point because I didn't draw anything else to fill the staging error, so I'll just keep the status quo. No one is in range to attack me yet, although they soon might be. Defend with Frodo. He's defending for 3 thanks to Friend of Friends. Discard bottom card of the deck. I'm pretty sure that's a cost 2 or less. Yeah, that's my smoke rings. All my threat reduction is out of sight as well. Okay, so that's 5. I'm gonna take 2 threat for those ability. Rosie will buff Frodo's attack. He'll be now going up to 3 attack, 4 attack with Friend of Friends. That is a strong attacking Frodo right there. And then we attack with Quick Beam. That gives us 7 to 4. That's 3 damage. Okay, so we take out 1 enemy after all that. We did lose like 3 allies all at once at the same time. So, ouch. Next turn. Okay. Well, I can either put out some more allies. Let me check how many where the encounter deck is looking like. 13 more cards. So we have 13 more cards where we don't have to worry about that stupid treachery. If I'm right that there's only 2 copies. Usually there's only 2 copies of those really bad treacheries. We're gonna be up against 4, 7, 9. We can send a good amount. So I think I might Galadriel's Greeting this one. Although yeah, I think that's the right move. I was saying although I could potentially save up for Glorfindel, but that's a couple turns away. I'd rather get some options now. So let's go down to 21. These 2 are gonna trigger, so we'll get 2 cards. Oh, F off, a very good deal. I'm not gonna play you again. I'm done with you. So lots of spirit cards, which I can't play. Fantastic. I could use Calphon to see if I could get something more useful right now. No, Stokesbook, I'm not gonna play it. Oh, although the chances are really good at this point. The chances are really good of grabbing. The problem is I only have like 19 cards left in my deck. I've chewed through everything. I don't know if I'm gonna have enough firepower at this point to get through the quest. A gambler's fallacy. Oh, I am sorely tempted. I do like a good gamble. Alright, you know what? Screw it. I've lost most of my best cards anyway. YOLO. Very good tale. Can't whiff now, right? It's impossible. That's impossible. There's my resourceful. Oh, Faramir. Imrahil. There you guys are. And Gimli. There they are. Of course they all show up at once. Who is the best play here? I mean, Faramir potentially, because the last stage involves just chewing through an ungodly amount of threat. Imrahil gives me extra resources if I want to ditch Folco. Gimli would be very helpful in actually giving me some combat power, which is lacking right now. But I'm kind of leaning Faramir. I don't know. What do you guys in the chat think? I'm going to take a sip of tea. I'm kind of leaning Faramir just because I know the next quest stage you have to rack up a bunch of willpower. That's assuming I don't have to do any more combat, though. The tea is helping me decide. Not really. This is a tough one. You know, if these were a little more evenly spread out instead of being stuck in a clump of 5 together, I could have got a couple of these out. I think I'm gonna have to go Faramir. I might be wrong here. I might be wrong. Maybe I need to prioritize questing power, but I think I'm gonna have to go Faramir. Okay. Let's see where we get. We get 2, 4, 7, 9. I don't anticipate taking an enemy this turn. Probably. Yeah, Finn Barfin. I love your first age related name, by the way. It is looking grim, but I'm not totally ready to give up. Let's see. 3, 4, 6, 8. I might as well send Calphon for Faramir's sake, and that's 9 to 9. We'll send Frodo for an extra 3, that's 12. So, yeah, Chris is mentioning that the mass damage treachery would wreck the Faramir choice. Yeah, indeed. I haven't seen, as far as I remember, I have not seen any of my 3 Test of Wills. So in theory, with only 14 cards left on my deck, there should be one coming soon. And that treachery is done for now, at least, until a couple more turns. So with, I'm sending how many characters? 3, 4, 5. So I'm looking at potentially 17 willpower. That should be enough. Okay, we get another one of this guy. 10, 11, 12. Let's activate Faramir. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5. So up to 17. Time for Faramir to show his quality, which he does. Clears out that location. Yeah, I'd love not to draw any more drowned graves. That would be great. That's a Flooded Ruins, which contributes its threat. Well, that helps with the willpower path, at least. So do I engage an enemy at this point just to try to tank it, even though I won't be able to do much damage? Or do I just go forth and try to quest? Man, I really don't have any more combat power coming. Hobbit, Gandalf, and Gimli are the primary big hitters. So I would definitely just be tanking this thing for a while. Yeah, you're right, Roka Fuchs. I keep forgetting Sam's ability. For some reason in this deck, I'm always so focused on Frodo and what he does, I forgot Sam's whole inclusion, which is to get some extra uses out of Rosie's ability. Yeah, so he'd be attacking for 2, 3, 5. Frodo could attack for 7. Yeah, so if I take the attack undefended, I could technically kill it. That would be a bunch of threat, but might be worth it. Yeah, at this point I'm going YOLO mode, so let's do it. We are going to take this undefended. Okay, so that's gonna be 4 threat. Up, 1, 2, 3, 4. His ability focuses on destroying an ally, which did not happen. Sam readied when he engaged. Rosie will buff Sam this time. So he is looking at 2 with his ability, 3 friend of friends, 5 from Rosie. That is a hard hitting Sam. 2 attack Frodo, that is enough to destroy this guy. Thanks for the shout, Rook of Fuchs. I would have missed that, I think. I need to pay more attention to Sam. Poor Sam. Okay. Let us move to the next round, not forgetting anything. We're at 26 threat, still not in range of these guys. A friend of friends that I don't need. think losing Glaewine hurt the most, actually. I can lose the others, but if I have Glaewine to keep drawing and get me to my replacement cards, I don't even know if it's worth ditching Folco at this point until I start getting in enemy range, because I lost all my resourcefuls and timely aids. Okay. Well, if I'm not going to ditch Folco potentially for a while, I could potentially put out this, but I think I'll wait to get Arwen out next turn. I should have enough will. We're up against 2, 4, 7, 10, and 13. Ouch. I'm trying to remember if next quest stage spits out an enemy. I want to say yes, but I think I'm just going to have to keep questing over them. So 2, 6, 9, 10. Might as well send Bill for extra willpower. 11, 13. Yeah, Stokesbook is saying all those resources on Folco are going to go clean off the cliff of the cart. Yep. Sounds about right for Folco Boffin. There's the steep plateau! There it is, Stokesbook. Oh, we can send him off the plateau. If it's looking like I might win this thing, I might have to send him off the plateau just for fun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is a lot. That is 7 extra willpower. Yeah, I'm feeling happy with my Faramir choice, I think. That's gonna clear this. That is gonna go up here. We are now going to move to the next quest stage, which is gonna spit out a billion locations. So this is gonna be the true test of whether I'm gonna be able to survive. We're gonna find out pretty quickly here whether I can muster enough willpower. 2 copies of Lost Island. Okay. In 1 and 2. And just when you think that's not enough, we also need to add the set aside Shrine of Morgoth, which is also Lost Island. We need to randomize them so we don't know which is which. I kind of just do page down through them a little bit. Shuffle them up some more. Shuffle them up some more. And there we go. It's not too much threat, right, guys? Okay, now after location is explored, instead of shuffling back into the Uncharted deck, it goes to the victory display, so we can finally start to get rid of some of these locations, actually. And unlike before, we don't just add locations when we travel, so we're not getting that self-replacing thing. So we can actually, if we can get ahead of things, we can start chewing through some of this. Okay, let's see. Counting up threat here, 13, 16, 17. Let's just travel to any old one. Oh, okay. Well, look at that. We found the Shrine to Morgoth. This, when it is flipped, exhausts each ally in play with printed cost 2 or less. That's just rosy. Then we have to search the encounter deck and discard file for an undead enemy and put it into play. Engage with me. Okay. It's any enemy, if I'm correct. Yeah, an undead enemy, and it's put into play, so not added. So we might as well just put this Throngs of Unfaithful. So look at that. We found the Shrine to Morgoth right away. Sometimes I don't like it being that soon because I want to clear out some of the other threat so that it's easy to get through these 8 quest points. The good news is if I can find a way to get those quest points, I can take this Shrine of Morgoth and just clear it out. The question is whether I'll be able to muster that much. If I could draw a leadership card or a lore card, that would surely help. So potentially one thing I might want to tweak in this deck is the resource distribution, because I do get a lot of spirit cards more than the other cards. Okay. So the question is whether I want to take one of these other enemies to try to essentially get threat out of the staging area. And I think the answer is yes. So let's engage the Servant of the Deceived, which is going to ready Sam Gamgee. Peek at the top card. Yeah, so he's going to attack for 5. Discard bottom card of your deck. If that card is 2 or less, exhaust the character you control. Ooh, that is a problem. That is a problem. Yeah, unfortunately, if I would have resolved this one first, it wouldn't have been an issue, but now I have to exhaust Sam. This is going to go through and cause 5, 2, 3 is 2 threat. Now we have no one to defend this. We're going to have to take it undefended. So we might see the death of Folco yet. For all of those cheering for that. No, we have just enough that we can put it on Sam instead. So I'm playing a bit of a risky strategy here, which is to pull down the enemies and just hope that I can quest out. Rosie's not going to help. Arwen will help. Actually, I take that back. Arwen helps with defense, but I think playing the 2 Sylvan Refugees that I've been holding in hand all game, 1 for 4 willpower at this point, I don't think there's any other direct damage. I think that's the best move. Let's see what we can get here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 11. We're up against 12 right now. I'm just gonna send... Yeah, I think we're going yellow at this point. If I need to lose Folco, I need to lose Folco. 2, 6, 9, 10, 12, 14, 15, 17, 19. With Rosie and Faramir in the reserves. Okay, let's see what we get. Okay, we get an enemy. That's fine. He's still out of range, I believe. Let's see what Faramir nets us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That takes us to 28. And I think... Oh, I did forget something. I was not able to draw cards. But I actually drew Rosie Cotton, so which I did not play, so that actually did not affect anything. I don't think I used any other search, no, because I don't have any card draw or search effects, so yeah. So I forgot that little piece of text on Shrine to Morgoth, but it didn't affect anything. So 28 to 14, unless I'm missing something, that should do it. Players cannot defeat this stage unless Shrine to Morgoth is in the victory display. It is now in the victory display over here. When it's added, the players win the game. And probably, I pulled it out. That was a little bit harder. I think there was definitely kind of final thoughts. One thing, I still really like this quest. I love the touch of, again, Shrine to Morgoth, because the downfall of Numenor is they started worshipping Morgoth instead of the Valar like they should have been. So love the first stage touches in this quest. Deck itself, I think the idea to include Keldoan Traveler is a great one. I'll look into that. I think maybe smoothing out the resource distribution a little bit would help. Making sure there's some more options, not so much for lore, because Folco will be discarded oftentimes, even though you didn't see it here. But I think those are the main things. Maybe adding some leadership cards. Let me see what else. Let me catch up on the chat a little bit. Chris is saying, I'm growing convinced the 2 or less swarm deck is less than ideal for this quest. Yeah, potentially. If you can get your test of wills out early, then you can just... Basically, the other treacheries aren't that bad in this quest, so you save them for that and hope for the best. Stokesbook says you've elected the way of pain. Thankfully, it wasn't too much pain. Okay, Chris points out that Frodo could have taken 2 damage. Bill boosts his HP. True. And Friend of Friends as well. So I did have more breathing room there with Friend of Friends. And Mr. Trench says that was my favorite part of the movies, when the hobbits got torn apart by the zombies on the tropical island. I did like that part as well, especially that part where Sam tries to karate kick the zombie and then the zombie grabs his leg and pulls it off. Okay, apparently my music was hitting a good point at this point. I actually can't hear the music on my end, I just have a running mix going. Finn Barfin says, wow, nice work, thank you. It was a little bit more dicey than I expected, because this quest it can throw you for a loop, but it's not on the super hard scale, which is one of the reasons I picked it, because I don't think this deck so far as it's built can handle like the super hard quest. But I do like the deck. It definitely made my Frodo and Sam better. I'm a bit sad we didn't get to see Folco discarded when he's supposed to be the highlight, but I think it also just shows that him just being there as a 4-threat hobbit with 2 willpower and 2 attack is worthwhile in itself. And then if you need to use the ability, you can. I also definitely Faramir was the right choice, and I think if I would have chosen either of the other 2, Imrahil or Gimli, I would not have won this. Faramir definitely made the difference. And for those of you who encouraged me to take that a very good tale, I probably would not have gotten Faramir in time as well. So thanks for pushing me to do the irresponsible thing. I always appreciate it. So once again, Faramir is always clutch, as he has been since the core set. Yeah, I think that's about it as far as final thoughts on the deck. A few tweaks to be made. I think it runs decently. I think it could actually do good work in multiplayer, although you might have to tweak the uniques just because it could fly under the radar. And then in that case, you could include things like Out of the Wild and manipulate then counter deck. And I think that would work nicely as a multiplayer deck, actually. Potentially even better than a solo deck. So, with that being said, I hope you guys have a great weekend. Thanks for joining me again for another Tea Time Tales. We'll see what next week has in store. Oh, I guess one last thing. People might be wondering with the announcement of the digital game whether I will be focusing on that at all. The short answer is I have no idea right now. I have been getting excited for it. I won't rule it out. Probably I might do some streams here and there, but what I will say is the primary focus of Teatime Tales, as well as Tales from the Cards, will always be like 90% on the physical game, I imagine. But yeah, I imagine dabbling with that here and there. Last comment. Let's see the last word from Stokesbook. He says, it looks like I don't have to worry about Ian's deck knocking mine off the front page because Chris's has. Looks like we have a battle for that spot going. 3 decks enter, only 1 deck leaves. Alright, see you next time, everybody. Thanks for joining me. Bye.